Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, be sure and tap on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. Well, I think we ought to get started here. I think I got started a couple days and then that was a couple days ago, and then I got interrupted, and somebody's fault. Couldn't have been mine. But that's what it was. It was my birthday. Okay, on my birthday, I didn't work on anything. I did ride my motorcycle. Yeah. And we did eat lots of food.
Yes, sir.
And cameraman Mike took me out to an awesome dinner. I mean, it was sushi and sake and you name it. We had a good time. Or so I'm told.
So we're told.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so I did not finish servicing this bike. I did get it running last time, which kind of was pretty wonderful. You know, do a little this, a little that, kick it once, and it lit right off. And I said, okay, she's ready to start the season. Well, then what I did is I let it run for a while today to get all the oil from the engine back to the oil tank. Now, that's something that gets discussed all the time. And it's, you know, quite often, and it's because people don't understand how the oil system in these work. And for those of you who do understand, please just be bored and put up with me for a moment, because people that are new to this are always having this problem, especially when their bike sits all winter or something of that nature. Because what happens is, whether you have an early oil pump like this old cast iron oil pump on my 52 Pan here, or you have a later model oil pump on something right on up to an Evo, up to and including an Evo, there is a check ball in there that keeps the oil into the oil tank when the bike is just sitting. And the oil tank is, of course, at a much higher level. So that little ball check, it's a ball with a spring, and it has a real important job to do, and that's holding that oil back because gravity wants to just fill up the crankcase with it. Mm-hmm. Well, now there's only about, I don't know, 12, 14, something like that, ounces of oil in the lower end when this thing is running. And all it's for is to keep the roller bearings wet. It's not like plain bearings, shell bearings, insert bearings, whatever you want to call them in a car, that are dependent upon oil pressure to keep the bearings from not even rubbing on the crankshaft. Mm-hmm. What they're running on is a thickness of oil, and that they need a lot of pressure for that reason. Well, a Harley motor with a roller bearing crank, like all of these are, doesn't need that. All it needs is for those roller bearings to get wet. Okay, and then the oil goes through the system. It starts out going into the bottom. It starts out going to the top, and then after there's a plunger in there, reaches a certain level, and then it splits off, and you get half the oil goes to the top and the other half goes to the bottom. The problem is, when the bike's been sitting and all this oil is sitting in the lower end from having gotten past that ball, in enough time it normally does go past it. You go fire your bike up. Yay, it's summertime. We're going for a ride now. Spring, actually. You fire your bike up and it pumps oil all over the garage floor. Everybody's angry. The bike's a piece of junk. It's just not so. All it is it got past that ball. So all you need to do is be aware.
One of the reasons, because dirt, anything can keep the ball.
But even so. If everything is clean and wonderful in there, it can only hold back that oil so long. It's just, here you got 3 quarts of oil and gravity. Come on. You're asking too much of it. And so that's what it does. And so I just wanted to bring that up. And what you do at that point is you put a pan under your bike before you start it. Whenever it's been sitting for a long time, put a pan under it and you won't be angry 5 minutes afterwards, okay? You put a pan under it, you let it pump it out on the ground, you make sure the oil tank doesn't go dry, but you don't want to add oil because you don't know how much is in the motor and how much is going back into the oil tank, so you're going to wait until it's had enough time to balance out. Now, I ran mine for 10, 15 minutes outside. I put a fan on it and just let it run. And that pumped as much as was going to back into the oil tank, and then I drained it out. It is now drained out. Okay, so draining it out is not that big a deal, of course, but this is my handy-dandy homemade funnel here, which is a piece of cardboard. And all I do is just fold it so it's in a V, and it makes like a wonderful little trough for the oil to run down into the pan. And what I'm going to do is put my drain plug back in here. I caught that. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I just don't want that running all over the place. In fact, I think what I'll do is fold it and just stuff it into the pan. Here. There.
Ta-da!
Now I'm going to put that down out of the way, if you don't mind. And don't trip over it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. That's a ticket. All right. So now I can do that. Get that little drain plug back in there. And everybody's waiting now to see what brand of oil I'm going to use. And joke's on you. I'll put it in after the video is over. I can't tell you what the best oil in the world to use is today. It's just the way it is, folks. You know, I think I checked the oil in the trans before I ran this thing.
You're doing it now anyway.
I'm going to do it now anyway. Now, where the oil needs to go, can you see in that hole?
Yeah.
Okay, the oil goes right up to the bottom thread.
It's not there.
No, it's just a hair lower.
A hair?
Yeah.
Do it again. Oh, okay, that thread.
The bottom thread. Let me kill that thing. It's okay. It'll be fine. Everyone will recover. It's just the compressor.
It's just the cameraman.
Yeah, well, anyway, so you could see the bottom thread is how much oil you're supposed to put in this trans. Now, last time I showed this, I showed it on my shovel head, which has a plug right here for checking the level. But the earlier ones do not. So you look in there and you see, with the bike sitting upright, that the oil comes up to the threads. And that does not mean a bunch more for good measure, because it will leak all out the other side. And you won't like that. Okay. So what I wanted to do today was just kind of go over a few things. You know, when we get done with this video, I will go in the house and wash this air filter out in the kitchen sink. Am I not supposed to say that? I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not.
You're supposed to say that.
Huh?
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
No?
No.
Oh. Well,
Some other guy.
couldn't have been me or you. Okay, yeah, this is a washable element, so I'm going to wash it. It's not that it's that dirty, but I'm going to wash it because it's the start of the season, and I'd like to have it just about as fresh as I can. So that's what I'll do. Now, the other things here that we need to give attention to are just lubrication spots. You know, like, well, here we are with, here's one that people forget to do all the time. This is the cross shaft for the rear brake. And it goes through a tube to the other side of the motorcycle.
I got it.
Yeah? Can you see the Zerk fitting there?
Yeah, I think I got it.
Well, I'm going to put the grease gun on it.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Now, I gave that a couple of good shots of grease. That feels nice. It really does. I'd like to say that you want to lube, grease all of these pins. Every one of these little pins. It's no big deal to take the cotter pin out, take the pin out, put a little grease on it, put it back in. I do not think I need to show that for people to understand that. Okay, now, this is always a mess, and I'll probably have to get the pan back up here again.
Oil filter?
The oil filter.
All right.
Okay, well, let's get that pan back
Not
up
petrol.
here. Not petrol. Okay. Now,
Stainless steel, only the best for baby.
well, actually it's not. Okay.
That's not stainless steel?
No. This can?
No, the oil pan.
Oh, that, sure. So what I'm getting, I took the nut off the bottom of this thing, and I'm taking the filter canister off. And we're going to pour that in the pan. And that's it. So we're going to let that sit there and run. And I think when this thing is really finished being serviced, I'm going to give her a bath. This thing has not had a bath in I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
That's going to sit there and just, I wipe it down and I try to take care of it, but to really give it a bath. Now, people are going to probably write in and say, we want to see you give her a bath. You know? Okay. Maybe I'll do that. I could wear my Speedo and give baby doll a bath.
I can't. There it is.
Yeah, it's not very nice, is it?
I keep trying to find things with the viewfinder instead of the actual lens.
It's
It's on the other side of the camera.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Wow.
That looks like an oil filter for Camaro.
Don't start that. You'll have Chevrolet blaming you for their problems. Okay.
Shh, it's a secret.
Yeah, quit it.
Then you wonder why they don't let me talk.
Yeah. No comment. Okay. Well, that wasn't so bad, huh?
Nope.
Now, the big deal is there is a gasket up in here. Yes, and it's perfect. I want to see it. I want to see it. That gasket is absolutely perfect. I am not taking that gasket out for anything. Well, I've put these things together dozens of times and had them leak like crazy.
Yep.
And when you finally get your routine down, then you say, okay, I've got the routine down. I don't need for it to leak anymore.
Gotcha.
And with with white lithium grease, this thing really does seal up nicely. And it just so happens I have some of that today. And we're going to put it in there. And everybody's going to ask why. And there's no why. It works well, that's why. Okay. All righty. Well, let's see. I believe I have a new filter here. It looks like this. Oh, and I have washers and everything I've saved. But you know what? The stuff that I just took out of there is exactly the stuff that I'm going to put back in there. Yep. Yep. So, aha. There it is there. That one goes right there. And we're going to put her right back in there.
Almost put my foot in an oil pan.
Don't do that. Okay. And then we'll put this one on there. And then we'll put this one on there. Well, look at that. It's just sliding right up there like a champ. Now, a lot of people get concerned and say you need to put oil in the filter when you put it on. Remember, please, this is the return side of the pump. So the oil is returning out of the motor, down there, coming up through this line, through the filter, and back to the oil tank. If there's any air in there, it's going to be out of there pretty soon. It's going to be pumped right into the oil tank. Always leave room at the top of your oil tank for air. Okay, so now I think what I'll do is tighten this up. There we go. That was the return of the Titans. All right. That's beautiful. Believe me, putting white lithium on this gasket at the top will make the can seal right up to it, which is really, really nice. Because if it doesn't, then it's going to leak until you take it all apart again and put it back together again. Because, I mean, you know, it's like that day John and Fred and I took off up the mountain, and Fred was on his Panhead.
Yep.
And he split he spit this whole thing off in the road, which not only was rough on Fred, but it was pretty rough on John too, because John was riding behind him. And John got all that oil all over his face, all over his windshield.
That's right. John doesn't run a windshield.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. It was on one of them.
Oh, he was on his dyno.
I don't remember, I guess.
No, the Road King.
Yeah, he was a mess anyway. John was not. John was. If John weren't such a nice guy,
Yep.
I hate to think how that would have gone. Of course, Fred felt pretty terrible getting all that oil all over John. Of course, me, since I wasn't involved, the whole thing was funny.
Yep.
Yep.
It's even funnier because I sat at home.
Yeah.
Babysit a dog.
Who hit a dog?
Babysitted a dog.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now. Now see, by turning that a little bit, you can get it to seat right in to that seal. Now, I have got a gasket and a nut to go on there, and a little bit of white lithium on this gasket here.
Boy.
Yes, I've been using it for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it works great, so don't you say anything bad about it. And I'll just take this nut and put it on here and tighten it up. And the whole thing will be lovey-dovey again. That went into the pan, didn't it?
Nope.
No?
I didn't hear a kaplunk. I didn't see no. It didn't.
It went into the pan.
I don't think so.
Well,
Dive.
can you see it?
Unfortunately, us in the audience cannot see it.
Well, I think that I'm going to get
You're right.
a magnet. Okay.
Sporting her Italian shoes.
Here it is.
All girls gotta have Italian boots, huh?
I don't know.
Was it in the girls?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. No big deal.
Anyways.
Having a little bit of difficulty seeing this thing. And there it is. All right, everybody. That's it for the oil filter. Not bad. That didn't take too much time. And I think everybody got the idea on how to do that. So that takes care of the oil filter, that takes care of changing the oil, that takes care of, I'm going to top this off a little bit. And other than that, I'm going to lube a bunch of pins. There's one more thing I wanted to show from our last video. I realized I went over it too quickly and I don't think people caught it. This is an original Petcock, okay? Now, it's got the accessory knob extension on it here, which is kind of cool. I just had to have one of those, so it's on there. So you turn on your gas like so, and for those of you who have these on your old bikes, you understand that exactly. Okay, that turns the gas on. Now when we go on reserve, we pull it up that much. The problem is if the bike has been sitting, there's a leather packing in here for a seal. And that leather packing gets wet, the leather seals, and this thing works very well. If the bike's been sitting and that's all dried out, then nothing will hold this up for you when you're trying to get the bike going again, get some gas through it, which will solve all of its problems. But it's kind of hard. You're trying to ride it and hold this up. So I have a wonderful solution. Plain old clothespin. You put that clothespin on there and it won't fall shut.
Ouch.
That's all you need to do. So I wanted to bring that up and show it because I did it in the last video and I went over it too quickly, I think, to explain that that's... And as soon as that seal gets wet enough, it'll be fine. It'll work just like mine does. So that's about it. Like I said, other than that, need to lube all the pins. I'm going to lube the pins in. This is a step bolt here and a step bolt here. I lube those. Lube the pins down here on the brake linkage. Same thing with the clutch pedal, the shaft where it goes through. Most of this stuff is in pretty good shape. I've shown, I don't know how many times, how to lube a kickstand. This one's got enough grease in it to last it quite a while, so I'm not going to worry about it. So other than that, I think all we need to say is what's coming up, and I don't even have the date on it.
24th.
The 24th of June is Born Free.
14.
Born Free 14.
I believe so.
Yeah, 2023 is the 14th. The 14th, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be wonderful. That's in Santiago Canyon,
Lake Irvine.
Irvine Lake, and we'll all be there. So everybody, you're going to hear me talking about Born Free until Born Free is over, and then I'll talk about it some more because it'll be cool.
Yep. Hopefully we'll get some video.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some really good stuff this year. We did last year.
No, I got a special.
Okay, okay, let's wait and see. Okay, we do want to mention the T-shirts.
Our subscribers been asking for it, so we're gonna try something out.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, there's our shirts, and they are available. And there's our new baseball cap, which is available,
Let's use technology.
which is embroidered Pacific Mike on it.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you're using technology.
Using technology.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it for today. I mean, I may lube this chain, which I've shown how to do that enough times. But I think we're about done with this for now, and I'll be riding her soon. Okay? So until next time, we'll see you out on the road.